This is the story of my nightmare build, and then AMD stole my brand new, in-the-box, unopened 5900X processor. Should I call the cops? This story started about 8 months ago and is ongoing. I built a new desktop PC and decided to go with Team Red, AMD, for the first time. It has turned out to be a monumental mistake. A couple of hours into my new build, I get Chrome AWSNAP status access violation errors. And then a blue screen of death a little while later. I left BIOS at default settings with the exception of turning on XMP. This went on for a few months. Blue screens once or twice a month and AWSNAP errors 2 or 3 times a week, mainly on YouTube and Reddit. I would do some research and would try different solutions, but nothing worked. I bought new memory, no change. Eventually, I got serious in my research and did a deep dive and found a few posts that Chrome status access violation errors were caused by a bad core. I started a warranty RMA with AMD, and to my surprise, they approved it pretty quickly without any follow-up information. But I wanted to know if I really had a bad core. So I used Ryzen Master and shut down different cores and would play non-stop YouTube videos to see which core was causing the errors. Eventually, after a lot of testing, it was Core 4 on CCD 0 that would cause AWSNAP status access violation when only this core was turned on. I then boxed up the processor and sent it to AMD's RMA facility in Miami. Once in their possession, it was deemed defective and I was sent a new one. I live at about an hour north of Miami. The round trip was not great, but not bad either. I have read horror stories of people waiting weeks for replacement processors. My round trip was 8 days total. Hey, while watching this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. While the processor was on warranty RMA, I decided I wanted a new motherboard. And a friend lent me a 5600X for me to use while my processor was on warranty. The new motherboard and 5600X worked flawlessly for those 8 days. The new processor arrives and I install it, making only one change in the BIOS, turning on XMP. So now that processor number 2 is installed, I decide to try out a game, Fortnite. After playing for a few minutes, I get a blue screen WHEA error and I'm ready to lose it.
Wait a minute, what?
This happens 3 more times within 15 minutes into a gaming session. I immediately submit a request for another RMA about 2 hours after I installed this 5900X processor into the PC. The next morning, I get a long list of information that AMD wants me to send them before they will approve the warranty RMA. After posting online, someone said impossible that I got 2 bad processors in a row, and I started to believe it. I shouldn't have. So I spent weeks trying all sorts of BIOS settings. I buy more new memory, G-Skill Samsung B die, no change. I go back to my old motherboard, no change. I order another motherboard, MSI B550 Unify, no change. I even order another processor from Amazon, 5900X, but I don't open it because this is going to be a large expense. And this is where the fun begins. One Sunday, I errored twice in about an hour and decided I had had enough. I spent a couple hours gathering up all the information that AMD wanted for the warranty, and I submit it. The next morning, I get an email, it's approved. Yay! But this time, I don't have a spare 5600X to borrow. So it's either using my old laptop or I can open this nice, new, shiny 5900X that's been sitting in my office for a couple of weeks. I decided to take the plunge and install the new 5900X in my PC. And I box up and send the second defective processor back to AMD. This time, the turnaround on the warranty RMA is lightning fast. Ship on Tuesday, return to me on Friday. At this point, the new shiny processor, number 3, has been in my PC for 3 days. I made sure for 3 straight days Fortnite was running because sometimes it would fail in spectator mode. It did not fail once, and I let it go for a few more days. At this point, I had decided I was done, no more, I couldn't deal with it anymore. I was not going to uninstall processor number 3 and take a chance on processor number 4. This one was working flawlessly. So now I have processor number 4, shiny and brand new and unopened, sitting in a box. I think about selling it on eBay or Facebook Marketplace, but I will not be whole because I will have to sell at a discount and have fees and lost sales tax. I decide to write to Dr. Lisa Su, the AMD CEO. I wrote a 2-page letter explaining my trials and tribulations over the last few months. A couple of weeks later, I get a call from someone at AMD When you write to the CEO, they don't read or know anything about your issue. They have a staff that handles this sort of thing for the big Fortune 500 companies. The AMD rep and I have a good conversation, and I say I want them to buy the unopened 5900X from me. He tells me he cannot do that, but what he can do is upgrade me to a 5950X. I decide, okay. He also offers me a free game code from a list of 5 choices. After that, the warranty RMA facility in Miami reaches out to me the next business day via email and sends me a label to ship the 5900X to them. That rep also tells me to let them know when I send it. Please confirm back once you have shipped your Ryzen 5900X. This will help me to sync up with the warehouse and prioritize your new shipment. Okay, so I shipped the new in-box, never opened 5900X processor the same day and let that person know via email I shipped it. They never respond to me. A couple of days go by and I get an email from my AMD contact that I spoke to on the phone with pictures that the processor I sent is used, has bent pins, and thermal paste all over it. I will not be getting an upgrade. Upon inspecting your return package, the second replacement Ryzen 5900X unit isn't in an unopened condition as you had indicated. Included are the photos of your return, and as can be seen, your processor has bent pins and residual of thermal paste, signs of physical damage due to external causes. I immediately lose it. I send my AMD contact an email, I call his phone, and I'm screaming into his voicemail, never using profanity, but I did threaten to take them to small claims court. After a few days, I get a new email from the AMD rep telling me, we're trying to understand how the damage and use could have occurred in transit. What a joke, are they trolling me? Yes, the FedEx delivery person snagged the package, ran home, smeared thermal paste all over it, bent some pins, and then stuffed it back in the box and shipped it and dropped it off at AMD. He also tells me that the serial number of the processor they sent me and the processor I sent back match, and my RMA claim is still denied. I saved the packing list they sent with the second warranty processor. The date code from the packing slip does not match the date code of the processor they claim as a matching serial number. As you can see in this picture, 2246 PGS versus 2245 PGS. Impossible. Someone is lying and doing a poor job of covering their tracks. The way I see it is the warranty facility doesn't get new processors shipped to them. They get defective crap processors shipped to them. The warranty facility emailing me, wanting me to confirm when I sent it, confirms this because this is not a standard operating procedure for this location. So they screwed up and lost the 5900X I returned, or more likely, someone in receiving saw a shiny new processor in a box and took it home. At this point, I am out about $300 to $400 on the processor, depending on how you look at it. I wrote a brand new letter to Dr. Lisa Su, the CEO. I will update when and if I get a reply. The moral of the story is if you ship something to someone you don't know, take the box and item to FedEx and video the whole boxing and sealing and handing to FedEx with the tracking number. Even if it is a Fortune 500 company, well actually especially if it is a Fortune 500 company, they will screw you and your grandmother if they get the chance because they know there's a buck in it. Hey, like and subscribe and share on social media. If I can sway a couple of people not to buy an AMD processor, my job is done.